All right, so today we're just going to jump in and we're going to start with how to walk in the easy yoke God has for you. Because let me tell you, ministry can be crazy, busy, and constant. But one of the things that I really appreciate and have loved is the teams that we have developed in our ministry. And so I really want to share this principle with you, and please stay on all the way to the end. There's good information that will be coming out in this message about building teams around you. Absolutely nothing I do is actually me at all. Nothing, not one thing that I accomplish is me. It's a compilation of a whole bunch of people doing their part put together to be this beautiful, excellent piece of work that has my face on it, but it's not me. It's a bunch of people pulling together, and it's so amazing to work as a team. So I had a team meeting the other night, and I was just sitting there looking at all of them and just so blessed by the team that God had put in my path for this specific conference that we have coming up, and just overwhelmed with blessing because it's a whole bunch of people doing a little tiny piece, and some of it not a little tiny. I mean, some of it's big pieces, doing their part, putting it together to be super successful and doing it excellent. But I'm able to sit back and enjoy that we get to do this together as a team and not just one person. It makes the yoke so much easier. Now, it's twofold because it makes the yoke easier, but it is so hard to entrust anything to other people. So I get it. I hear you. But listen, we have broke through that barrier of having a hard time delegating and giving things out because of trust or hurts in the past and that kind of stuff. So we broke through that, and it's worth breaking through that because now whenever we do anything, it's not me doing it. It's a whole group of people doing it. It's a team of people. And you know, this is super scriptural. It comes from the Word of God, and it's how at His Tabernacle Church, we've done it from day one. We have always built team of teams, and you may have heard us speak team of teams in the past, but I want to just expound on that and show you what that looks like, how it feels, and how you can get there too. And it's found in Exodus 18, where Moses is leading over 1 million people. He is one person leading over 1 million people, and his father-in-law saw all that he did. So it's Exodus 18 verse 14. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit with all the people and stand before you as they stand before you morning until evening?" And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me and inquire of God." And I just love how he said that he should build up teams. He should get 12 people. He should get people doing this with him. So if you read on through there, it talks about this is what leadership looks like, actually, is building a team of people, not doing it all yourself. Now, my husband has a quote, and I love this so much. "The less I do, the more I empower others around me to do." And I know it's challenging because you know how you want it done. You know you can count on yourself. You know you can get it done correctly. But as we allow other people to do things, they get to walk in their destiny too. They get to fulfill purpose too. And it makes the yoke light and easy for everyone involved. And we all get to be a part of it. And so we want to work on building team of teams for whatever it is you do, whatever level you're at. Have a team of people that help you, and not paid staff. I'm talking volunteers, people that just do this because they have purpose and they have destiny and they want to put their hand to the plow. People want to be productive. They want to be a part of what God's doing, and we need to allow them to. But I think one of the reasons that, well, there's several reasons that we don't do that. First, you know, maybe you've never even thought thought of it. Like Moses, he just did it because it was what needed to be done, until his father-in-law Jethro came in and said, man, what are you doing this all by yourself for? You need to have teams. So hear me today. What are you doing this all by yourself for? You need to have teams. So now you know you should have teams. And according to the word of God, you should have teams. Exodus 18, starting in verse 14. So write that down, go back and study it later, and really get this in your spirit that you want to start building teams. But one of the reasons we don't is because of past experiences, hurts. Well, that's not one reason. There's several reasons. Past experiences, hurts, disappointments, expectation, not thinking that they can do it the way that you want it. That's one of the hardest ones, is being able to embrace allowing somebody to do something that isn't going to be done exactly the way you want it to be done, but it is going to get done. That is so hard, but we've got to. You can't do everything alone. We've got to build teams surrounding. Nothing is stable if it's balanced on one item. If this is your base, if this is the base, it's just going to be tipping, toppling all the time, constantly. Everything is on your shoulders. All the weight is just on this one little tiny thing. There's so much weight on that one thing. But if we have a base that is strong and solid, like, oh, how do we do this? Here we go, there's triangle. If you have a base that's strong and solid, man, you can build that up and up and up and up, and you can do more and more. You know, when we started planning for this specific conference, we're like, all right, we'll just keep it small. We've got a lot going on. And you know what? We just started pooling from our teams of who wanted to participate. And we got a base that was so big that we're able to build and build and build. And now it's like blown up everywhere. So it's going to be amazing and great. If you're around and you're able to come March 1st and 2nd, we have a women's conference. There's no place to go but up. So we built this team. But in that, you have to be able to trust and rely on. And that's the other part. Sometimes you can't trust and rely on people. Sometimes you've asked people to do things and they haven't come through. I actually just heard that while we were sitting here before we came on live. Somebody had been asked to do something and it didn't happen. So, Mackenzie, are you going to just never ask anybody to do anything again? I mean, are you going to be able to survive and function that way? Okay, so I answered her question for her. She wanted to say yes. But in reality, if we want to accomplish the big things that God has, we have to be willing, even though people have disappointed us in the past, and maybe even the same people have disappointed us in the past, asking them and believing and putting responsibility on them to do something, but keeping in mind, you know, I need to plan some backup time just in case this doesn't happen, where I can get this accomplished. So you want to make sure you cover your bases so you don't end up showing up for something and it wasn't done. So you have to be strategic when you plan and trust people, and then you'll learn the people that will follow through. And guess what? There's going to be times where people have been consistent every single time before, and then this time they let you down. So you have got to not base your team building on the fact of whether they've been consistent or not consistent in the past. We've just got to be willing to reach out and allow people to walk in their destiny and walk in their purpose and be thankful and grateful. I am so thankful for the people that are around me and their part in everything that gets accomplished at every level of contribution that the women have. I'm so thankful. So be verbally thankful to the people that you have supporting you on your team, even if they don't do it perfectly, the exact way you want it to be done. Be thankful that they're there and they're doing it for you. The other reason that we sometimes choose not to build teams or utilize other people is we've been hurt. We've been hurt by people that we've trusted with stuff. We've entrusted them with power and authority, and that power and authority has gone to their head, and then they want to take over everything, and they can do it better. And so we have to always remember, here's some points that God's been developing in me, and I'm going to go into greater depths on these in the future, but God's really been working on me for probably the last year on this one. There's always a Judas at the table. You have to keep in mind, when you're building a team, he was part of God's team, Jesus's team. Judas, And he chose him and he allowed him to be on his team. And it was Judas. We have to embrace the fact that there's always a Judas at the table. And with Moses and his team building, there was Korah. There's always a Korah at the table. Korah wanted the priesthood. Korah wanted to be able to take over. Korah wanted the responsibility. Listen, there's always going to be that. And we cannot not build teams. We can't shrink back in fear because we think somebody might take over. You know what? Who cares? Just do what God has called you to do and be faithful in it. It's perfectly, but we have got to get past the place of not utilizing people because of past hurts or experiences. We've got to be willing to, you know what, you have people that just so badly want to be involved in participating in your ministries and helping you out, but because you're afraid, because you've been hurt in the past, you won't ask them and you won't utilize them. The real truth is, you know what, they might disappoint you. They might betray you. They might try to step on you and walk over top of you. That is a reality, but that's okay because we've got to stay in that cycle of love. When you love, you become vulnerable. And every time you become vulnerable, it's inevitable that you will be hurt, but you must forgive and choose to love again. So we've got to be willing to utilize whatever team God has in front of us at that time because it makes the yoke so easy. I've seen pastors' wives and women leading in ministry trying to do everything by themselves and just carrying everything as that one little stick holding everything up. You can't put too much weight on one little stick. It's going to topple over. It's like a house of cards. It can't stand. But when you build on a base, a team of people, listen, you know what happens? What happens if one of that base leave when you have a large base? It's not going to affect it at all. Think of it like a Jenga game, that wooden game where you put the wooden blocks in. If you have this good solid base at the bottom and you pull one of those base pieces out, it doesn't affect the whole entire tower at all. So there's actually comfort in building a larger team and entrusting more people, because then if one shifts or moves or breaks or gets knocked out, guess what? It doesn't affect the whole thing at all. So go ahead and build team of teams. Make that yoke easy and light, like God has designed for your life. Even with Moses as a leader and his father-in-law Jethro coming to him and saying, you need to not do this all alone. You need to build teams. So whatever it is you're doing, if you are just doing, maybe it's hospitality that you do in your church and you make meals for families or do blessings for families, build a team. Start asking people. You have not because you ask not. I am so convinced of this. Every time somebody's come to us in our church and said, I just can't get a team of people together, it's because you haven't asked. Because when you ask, people want to jump in and help. But because of fear, or because of insecurity, or because of past hurts, we're unwilling to ask people. You have not because you ask not. Ask people. And the big part of building a team is don't put too much on one person. Put as small of a piece on each person as you possibly can. Just I wish I would have brought a Jenga board. I didn't even think of it, that tower thing that you build with blocks. Just think of it as those little pieces. You give everybody that little tiny piece, and it builds this really strong base that you could go super high on. And if they're shifting and changing, it has no effect. And that's the whole goal of the game, is to get as high as you can without any of the shifting and changing pieces, moving the whole thing. And that's what we need to do in our ministries, whatever it is. Maybe it's children's ministry. That's one I know a lot of you have an issue with, and you need to build and make your churches stronger in children's ministries, and you're doing it all yourself. Ask people to help, but you have to be very, very faithful in saying only once a month. I know you need them every single week. I know you need that kind of help. But if you put that kind of pressure on one person, it's too much. It's too much. So making sure when you're building your teams, just small portions, and you will build a solid team. Ask ask for a small portion and build a team that you're able to have a super large base on so that you can go higher and higher, and it will make your yoke so easy. This event that we have coming up, it's going to go off without a hitch. Everybody doing their part, and then all the women that are heads, they also have teams under them, and then they have teams. Whatever level you're at, build a team. Go ahead and be faithful to build a team. Knowing, yep, somebody might disappoint you. Somebody might let you down. Somebody might just not do what they were supposed to do. Somebody may try to take over. Somebody may try to step on you. It's okay. It's okay, because if those pieces are removed, it has no effect on the whole. So build teams, woman of God. Go ahead and find confidence in asking for help. Maybe it's, with my book that I write. I'm on my 5th one. The next one is just being released this weekend of the women's conference, Victory Every Day. Do you know that that book did not happen by me alone? Please don't think for a moment that that book was all about me. The book isn't about me. Nothing I do is about me. Everything that I get accomplished is from a team of people. There were 6 people that dedicated a ton of time, from developing of the book to editing of the book to formatting of the book to the cover of the book, all those portions to get that book to be accomplished. So it's not ever one person. Anything done really good is never one person. It's always a team of teams. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, whatever level of ministry you're doing, build a team around you. You might think, oh, it's not enough to need a team. No, practice building a team anyways. Practice sharing. You know, I love when we get to do this women's conference. You know what? I'm not going to be the speaker. I'm not going to be the only one talking. No, I'm pulling other people in so that they can walk in their destiny and their purpose too. Because it's not all about us. Let's build other people around us at the same time. So no matter what, if you think, oh, I'm just too small to worry about building team. No, we started doing this when we were 5 people. We started. And now when we're as large as we are, it's just a natural thing. And every single person is building their team of teams. Every single teacher has a team behind them. Every single person that does anything has a team that works with them. And that is the way that we can be successful, and we can make this burden light and this yoke easy, is by doing it God's way and by building a team and allowing other people to walk in their destiny and their purpose. Whatever you make happen for somebody else, God will make happen for you. I love that scripture passage also. It's so powerful and it's so true. So let's get to building other people's purpose, other people's destiny. And in the meantime, we build this great conglomeration of excellence, and we get to shine Jesus, and we shine unity, and we shine building one another. And I know in my life, this has been such an amazing principle, an amazing way that we've built ministry, and I want you to be able to enjoy ministry also. I don't want to just be here running this race, having fun, enjoying life with my easy yoke while I just watch you drowning there. I want everyone to make it. Listen, we're not in a competition against each other. Let's build each other up. If I can share anything that helps me and it helps you, that is my desire, is to be able to build every single one of you with whatever works or whatever is successful for me. So I pray today that wherever you're at and whatever level you're at, that you will start being willing to let those walls down, to let go of that control, and allow other people to walk in their purpose and destiny, and to share the ministry, share the vision with other people so that we can run it together, stronger and better. We are stronger together. Just remember that with anything that you're doing. I want you to hear my voice telling you, you're stronger together. You're stronger together with people around you. If you want greater strength, if you want this yoke to be easier, put people around you, put people in position. Go ahead and let them participate in their purpose and their destiny. I know it's scary, and I know how hard it is. Trust me. But we have had to force ourselves. And you might be at the place where you will have to force yourself into this, but you cannot grow. You cannot go any further. You cannot go next level without building a team. You can't build any more on this one thing. It's like that teeter-tottering triangle. You can't put one more thing on your shoulders. You can't put one more thing on that. But if we flip it around, you can continue to build. You can go to the next level. You can make this yoke becomes easy and this burden is light. And I promise you, people are excited to run with you. Some people for the wrong motives and the wrong reasons, but that's okay. That's not you. It doesn't have any effect on you. Judas was there. It had no effect on Jesus being Jesus. Had no effect on his purpose and his destiny. Moses had Korah. And there were more, and Miriam and Aaron. It just, the list goes on and on with Moses. He had so many, and I can really relate through the years. I mean, it's been years of it, but it's okay. Did it affect Moses's destiny and purpose? Absolutely not. So go ahead, put that guard down, be willing to break through this barrier, and you're going to see growth. Actually, let me share this with you. It's a huge tip. For every single person you have working in your church, it adds 4 people to the church. Those are the statistics. That's the statistic that's out there. So not just somebody that comes and attends periodically. So actually, you're growing in more ways than one when you add people to your team. So go ahead, build a team, add them. Let's make this yoke easy and this burden lighter as we build a triangle that has a solid base that's immovable. Even when things shift and change and people go, it's still immovable. It won't fall and it won't collapse. I pray that this brings a new level of success in your life and ministry, and it gives you comfort in knowing you're not the only one. You're not the only one that hates sharing the purpose and destiny because of control or disappointment or hurts in the past. You're not alone in this. It's all of us. We all go through the exact same things. I know looking from the outside, it's like, oh, they just got it so easy peasy. Everything always goes right for them. No, it is called purposed, it planned, intentional team building. It doesn't happen by accident. It means you got to feel some pain. You got to feel some shifting and some moving, but you've got to be purposed and intentional in building that base where you will be able to grow and grow and grow with ease and a light burden. I love you so much. Have a blessed week. And I want you this week, I want you to pray and ask God who you can add to your teams. And I want you to ask because you have not, because you ask not. And then when you ask, oh, here's a really important factor. When you ask, give very clear, concise, written details of what you want them to do, of what your expectation is, written. And if you verbalize it to them, have them repeat it back to you so you know they are understanding what you are saying. Because sometimes we say something and we hear what we said and we understand it, but they don't necessarily understand it. And that's where some of our disappointment comes in, is because they don't fulfill it the way we wanted to. So part of our responsibility in this team building is that first you have to give them stuff to do. Not just ask if you'll be a part of my team, but what is my role? What does it look like? What is your expectation? Hear them say it back, put it in writing so that they're very clear. Timetables, locations, just really detailed expectation so that every communication, so that you build this solid pyramid of growth in your life, this solid team of growth in your life. And so that's your job this week, is to build teams. Start building teams. Give them clear directive. Give them something to do. Don't just gather people. Give them jobs. Let go of that thing. Let go of that thing. I know you think only you can do it, but I promise you from personal experience, other people can do it too. And sometimes they might even surprise you and do it better than what you could do it. So get out, build your team, ask, you will receive, and let's get running this race with ease and a light, light burden. I love you. God bless you.